when it comes to AI and blockchain is I think we will see in the coming months and a few years growing a machine economy, an economy where some AI agents will be financially independent, they will be rewarded, they will be able to buy and sell services. And the reality is that the finance of today, the regulations of today will not give a wallet to a robot. They will not give a wallet to an AI agent. So I think the obvious use case is essentially to bank the unbanked. I'm not thinking of people living in developing countries or economy, but I'm thinking of machines. How do you bank machines? And I think this is probably the most easy and low-hanging fruit for blockchain to expand in a new frontier market, is essentially to start serving.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Voice of Web3 podcast powered by CoinGape. Today, we have an amazing guest who knows literally everything about DeFi and blockchain. Meet here Charles Dossi, CEO of dYdX Foundation. Glad to meet you. How are you? Let's catch up.
Thanks for having me. Very excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us. So I think the great way to start our conversation would be from the dYdX updates from the past months. What do you have to share with the audience?
Absolutely. So maybe just to go with an update, I would like to start with some context. dYdX is in existence since 2018, so we are very much what we call an OG project. We've been focusing as a protocol on derivative crypto trading. So within the crypto trading space, there is a spot trading. So think of Uniswap or think of any time you want to buy a token and get the custody of the token. But there is also another market adjacent to it, which is way larger than the spot market. It's called the crypto derivative market. And dYdX is focusing on this exclusively since 2018. So we used to have dYdX on Ethereum. On the Ethereum side of the dYdX story, dYdX recorded $1 trillion of trading volume. And about 1 year ago now, dYdX community decided to launch the dYdX chain. And the dYdX chain has been doing great. So the update on the dYdX chain is that since the launch 12 months ago, the chain has recorded $235 billion of trading volume. And it has been adding some additional listings. So the chain allows the protocol and allows the community to innovate faster than before. So many more markets have been added to dYdX thanks to governance. So we now offer via the protocol more than 140 different trading pairs. And everyone is very excited right now about the upcoming launch of dYdX Unlimited. So dYdX Unlimited is an upgrade of the dYdX chain and the dYdX ecosystem. And it will bring three things which are really much in demand and really illustrate how DeFi can essentially outpace and grow bigger in the future than the centralized crypto exchanges. So the number one feature of dYdX Unlimited, which is being launched in a few weeks now, will be the Mega Vault. Essentially, this is an additional feature within the dYdX chain where liquidity will be offered on the full order book in a systematic way in order to offer to the users of the protocol the best experience. So that's one thing, what we call the Mega Vault. So users will be able to deposit USDC, projects will be able to receive USDCs, and also contribute to the size and to the liquidity providing services from the Mega Vault to the protocol. That's number one. Number two will be instant listing, instant and permissionless listings. So the beauty of decentralized finance, the beauty of DeFi, and the beauty of dYdX Unlimited is that it offers you very unique value proposition against what you can find and experience in the centralized exchange world. So instant listings means that any projects or any users will be able to list new assets on dYdX and get this asset listed in a very short period of time, and getting also some liquidity on this asset in a very short period of time. So this will allow RWA potentially to be listed on dYdX. This will allow maybe some trading pairs in the world of FX to be listed as well. There is really a kind of a new world open for users to contribute, for builders to contribute, and to come and list and grow this marketplace that is the dYdX protocol. The third edition is more technical. It's about an upgrade in the software in general in terms of velocity, finality, as well as the launch of what we call the full node connectivity for very advanced kind of traders. And the last one, that will be number 4 actually, is the affiliate system, which we are very excited about, helping the protocol to essentially incentivize people, bringing new users to the protocol and creating this kind of flywheel where new users will be coming, and the protocol will essentially be able to reward organizations or people bringing additional traffic to the protocol itself. So these flywheel are very important. There are 2 flywheels, I think, which are upcoming within dYdX. The first flywheel will be a liquidity flywheel, where new market will get liquidity via the megavault. And the second flywheel will be in terms of organic and systematic growth of the dYdX protocol via this new affiliation system built at the protocol level.
Yeah, that's you are doing so great in the industry, in the market. I'm happy to know about this Unlimited, and I think we will back to this new markets perspective in the future questions. And now I think I hope you are ready to answer for the next question, as I can ignore it because it literally everywhere. It's about US elections. With US elections results, how do you think it could affect the market overall and DeFi, or maybe platform like use, if it is?
Absolutely. It might not be the feeling of everyone right now, but this is my personal comments on this one. I think the US elections result with President Trump coming in the coming months improves the sentiment in the market. That's great. Everyone can benefit from that. It shows that there was a need for change, and eventually the US electors have decided for change. So it improves the sentiments big time. So this is great. I believe we will see regulators in the US changing the tone of their engagement with the industry and maybe changing a little bit the way they approach regulation. But I don't think the regulation will change so much. I don't think the mission of the SEC, the mission of the CFTC, the framework for trading securities, the framework for trading derivative, those will not change. I think the new administration in the US will probably be a little bit more open and giving clarity where there was no clarity before for many practitioners. But the rules will probably remain the same or along the same lines. So that's very important to be aware of that. Yes, it's helping and it's giving a lot of oxygen in the market and within the community, thinking there is a new administration coming, and I'm sure this is overall very positive. But we should be also kind of thinking first principle and remaining pragmatic, as the basic rules and the basic regulations will not change so much. So we should keep building in a diligent way, and staying aware of what are the basic requirements, which might be clarified or not, or apply to the industry in the coming months and coming years. So good news overall. But the market structure and the framework we operate around has not changed so much, and I don't think it will change so much.
Yeah, thank you for answer. I agree with you. And logically, the next question is about how DeFi adopting for this regulatory power in terms of decentralization.
So
how it's adopting.
I think what I see, in my opinion, is the DeFi market growing very strongly in the coming years. We see already some very, very strong signal. If you look at the spot market used to be 100% on centralized exchanges such as Binance, Coinbase, and so on. And today, 15% of the spot market and the spot trading volume is happening on-chain. via protocols like Uniswap, 1inch, 0x, and some others. So we see already a change in kind of the market mapping and the way people are consuming digital asset and crypto. So from 0 to 15% migration of the spot market on chain. On the derivative market, which is 10 times bigger than spot, the migration is only starting now. So today, if you look at the global volumes of crypto derivative, 95% is still happening on centralized exchanges versus only 5% on chain. So what it means is there is at minimum a 10% growth, additional growth in terms of market share for the crypto derivative to evolve. Regulations might be helping whenever regulations get more clear. I think we see a lot of different centralized exchanges starting to be able to acquire licenses for futures in some geographies, but overall it's mostly licenses for spot. I think the regulators also will probably progress step by step, and in some part of the world, I believe they will come to a conclusion that decentralized finance as itself is a technology, and you cannot regulate the technology. One thing you can do when you have like disruptive technology and innovation is when there is a need for that, you can decide to regulate or provide a framework of operations for the operators. So the same way you cannot regulate the internet, but you can regulate the internet access providers. So for example, in some countries, some certain type of website will be blocked for all kind of reasons by local regulators or local government. And I believe at some point in time we're gonna eventually land to this kind of setup where the technology of DeFi will be understood and acknowledged, and some of the operators of this DeFi or people providing access to DeFi will operate under a license, and they will need to apply maybe a regional license or their domestic requirements from their regulators. So I think eventually DeFi is internet finance, and the internet had a certain path towards regulation, and I think a similar path will be followed, considering DeFi as a technology and considering access providers as potential organization to be regulated and getting licenses. And probably you're going to see that with some of the centralized exchanges. I think the distribution of DeFi products is evolving before our eyes and evolving very quickly. One thing you can notice is a lot of centralized exchanges are in a global race to acquire licenses in as many countries as possible. And they're getting licenses in some countries, but for the most part, the licenses they get are exclusively for spot trading. So what it means is when Coinbase or Binance get a license, let's say in the UK, France, or anywhere, they will get for the most part a license only for spot, which means they have to stop their lending activities, they have to stop their futures activities, and so on. So it means that there is a lot of users which used to be on centralized, some centralized kind of venues, and these venues are getting licenses which reduce the scope of these venues. And if you look at what is Binance, Coinbase, everyone doing, they are all building besides their centralized exchange, Web3 wallet, non-custodial wallet. You can get a Binance non-custodial wallet, BitGet, and everyone more or less at the same play. So I believe eventually centralized exchanges in crypto are the new banks for many, and they will be having a core business of fiat and on-ramp and off-ramp, as well as the spot trading. So you can essentially start to buy some crypto of your choice. But there will also be becoming over the coming months gateway to DeFi, and they will facilitate access for their users to DeFi. And in this context, I think we will see the distribution of DeFi products evolving very, very quickly. And we see now a lot of projects, including dYdX, trying to bring their value proposition and their technology where the users are, rather than trying to only acquire and bring traffic to their own app or domain name. If you think about this, the way banks are operating today, I guess everyone in the audience is having a bank account of sorts. Eventually, banks today are kind of aggregators of financial products. Most of the time, they have a banking license to do one type of activity. Most of the time is deposit. And then your bank will offer to you a life insurance, will offer to you a health insurance, will offer to you maybe access to the stock exchange of your country or some overseas stock exchange. And eventually, all these services your bank offers to you are coming from other institutions. It's not like in-house services.
Yeah.
And I believe the same pattern of distribution will eventually surface in crypto, because this is what the people want. The technology changes, there is a lot of innovation, but for the most part, people remain the same. People are busy with their life. They don't want to be jumping everywhere. So I think early adopters are happy to go in different services and experience bridges and experience non-custodial wallet and all the complications of our industry. But the second wave of adopters in crypto, which will be by an order of magnitude larger than the first adopters, they will want something which is way easier to use and kind of facilitated access to all this internet finance stack. And I think the centralized exchanges and maybe a few aggregators will be doing a great work at this. And eventually people will be offered the choice. Either they can go directly to the DeFi protocol by themselves. It will always be possible and available. But if some people are busy and they just want to get to abstract all the complications of changing chains and swapping coins and all these things, they will be probably offered by centralized exchanges a much more enhanced and kind of experience. And if they prefer to consume DeFi this way, I think we need to respect their choice and offer them this optionality.
Yes, I see that regulations is kind of catalyst of evolving the industry, and you almost answered for the next question. But how do you think is AI can be also a catalyst of evolving and growing the industry?
I'm not an expert in AI. I think there is a lot of buzzword around this, and sometimes there is some wishful thinking or some projects which are trying to convince that there is a lot of overlap. The one use case which is very obvious, in my opinion, right now, when it comes to AI and blockchain, is I think we will see in the coming months and a few years growing a machine economy. An economy where some AI agents will be financially independent, they will be rewarded, they will be able to buy and sell services. And the reality is that the finance of today, the regulations of today will not give a wallet to a robot. They will not give a wallet to an AI agent. So I think the obvious use case is essentially to bank the unbanked. I'm not thinking of people living in developing countries or economy, but I'm thinking of machines. How do you bank machines? And I think this is probably the most easy and low-hanging fruit for blockchain to expand in a new frontier market, is essentially to start serving with kind of a financial mean and delivering a wallet for an AI agent or for a machine. One example which came to the world a few months ago, is a meme, the goat meme, which was essentially created by an AI agent. And this AI agent at some point was given some Bitcoin. And without Bitcoin, the AI agent could only deal with data, but it could not buy services which he was not able to produce by himself. And as soon as this AI agent was given some Bitcoin, the AI agent went into conversations with service providers and bought some service provider from a graphic designer and some other providers. So it's a good example how essentially blockchain can enable AI. There is probably some other use cases which I'm not very much aware of, but I think that's the one which comes to mind as meaningful and enabling a new economy, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, why I'm asking, because I saw the article news which told that there are many companies are coming that integrate AI or powered by AI in crypto and blockchain market, and even there are some projects that that are like building their AI system for developers, for Web3 developers. And this is really interesting because AI in crypto, it's clear for me, but for Web3 developers, it's something really interesting. So yeah, that's why, as you are more tech person, I also try to understand how it works.
There is one way people probably use AI, or at least they use algos. And what is an algo, what is AI, is a big conversation. But if you look at protocols like dYdX, for I would say for math geniuses and very sophisticated traders and trading firms and high frequency trading firms, it's much more interesting for them to essentially expand their business and activities within the world of DeFi. The reason is when you trade on a centralized exchange, you have no views on what's happening into the order book. So essentially, it's a black box, and from the black box comes a selling price and a buying price. But it's operated by a private company, and the private company does not let you see within the order book. You have no access to the kitchen, so to say. When it comes to DeFi, if you look at a protocol like dYdX, the order book is totally transparent. It's visible by everyone. And what it means, it's for many people, it allows them to improve their skills and to improve their algorithms, their trading algorithms, by having access to much more data. So for example, if you are trading on dYdX and you have a better PNL than my PNL, if I put some efforts, I will be able essentially to find out that you have maybe a strategy which is smarter, or you are taking into account some inputs which I'm kind of not taking care of, and understanding and improving my trading. And that's something which DeFi offers, is total openness, and this help for AI to progress. This is not possible to be deployed in kind of closed system. In closed system, you can develop AI to trade on centralized exchanges, but eventually you're just looking at what is coming from a black box, what is coming in from you and what is coming out from you and many others. So this is really suboptimal. In DeFi, the order book of dYdX, the AMMs of Uniswap are totally open. So you can see what's happening, and you can try to understand why certain wallets are more performing than others, and learn from there. Learn for yourself, or learn with your algorithm. And maybe the last point I'll make, if that's okay, why AI and blockchain have a bright future. The reason is, on blockchain, the data produced by blockchain is very well structured and very well labeled. So a blockchain is a decentralized database, is capable to bring a lot of activity, a lot of different kind of activity, and record this activity on the blockchain. So each block will record different movements and different actions, and it will label this movement and actions very clearly. And for AI to be high performing, you want to provide any AI engine or LLMs with a data set which is clean, well ordered, and where data are labeled in a very clear way. So the machine can learn more quickly and can learn also with more accuracy to what's happening. So this is where I think AI can go even faster in the world of blockchain, because the data quality and the data availability is way higher than elsewhere.
Yes, and maybe let's back shortly to the regulations. As you've mentioned, some regions, as UK, like from my opinion, UK is the toughest market for crypto. And how do you think, which regions are like most adopted for like DeFi? Which regions are the best now?
I think there is no best region. There is no best regions yet, because there is no clarity for regulators what is DeFi. It's a very long journey. They need to understand that this is technology. They need to understand how this is distributed, who are the operators, what kind of things they are doing. So I think it's basically a lot of unknown yet still. But what I like, and probably it's relating back to your questions on the US election. The US will be more progressive, probably, and the US will probably eventually look at all this regulation more seriously and trying to bring more clarity. And what it will bring and accelerate is a competition between the different regions to get the right regulatory framework and give clarity. If suddenly Middle East or Europe or US give clarity to DeFi, the other countries have no choice but to catch up. They might have a different opinion, but most of the time they will go more or less in the same directions, not to lose business. So it's important to be aware that there is a very high level of competitions between all these countries and cities globally to get the right regulation. Some of them are taking more time than others, but eventually the market does its work and try to essentially bring a fairly similar level of regulations in most parts of the world. So more competition and more people looking at regulations will just accelerate this move and bring more quality to the ecosystem overall, which is something I think everyone will welcome. One additional thing I'd like to mention is I think it's a responsibility for us as practitioners of DeFi to stay engaged with all the regulators and to stay engaged with them, not being afraid of them, but engaging with them in different forms to explain what we are doing and also to explain why and how DeFi essentially aligns very elegantly with the missions of the different regulators. I see many people claiming that DeFi is better. I invite them to demonstrate that essentially DeFi is better. And how to demonstrate is to essentially explain that what a regulator, some of the regulators' missions are, for example, the protections of the user assets, right? So we don't need to speak about FTX anymore. I think many people understood what happened over there. We don't need to speak about all the drama we see with different acts in centralized exchanges. When you build properly DeFi, essentially the protocol will keep the asset of the user safe. So this is really aligned with what a regulator wants, is to provide security for the asset of the users. There are exceptions. Some people are building things which are more fragile than others, but eventually you can verify where are the assets of the users at every single second on dYdX or some other protocol in DeFi. So it shows you, and this is something we need to keep explaining to regulators, like one of your core mission is delivered by design in DeFi. So you should consider DeFi as somehow some kind of ally to your mission. Another big mission for regulators is to provide a healthy marketplace, making sure there is no bad behaviors on an exchange, for example, making sure the information is fairly distributed on the exchange, making sure there is no front running or all kind of techniques to trade at the expense of retail users or not so advanced users. And again, when you build properly DeFi, all of this is totally transparent. So instead of dealing with a large centralized exchanges, which sometimes have black boxes and you take assumption that the things inside are okay, you have the opportunity with DeFi to look at this infrastructure totally and understanding how it works and making sure it's healthy. And I think the best illustration to show how governments are aware and how government eventually will be supportive of the DeFi technology and the DeFi industry overall is if you look at all the CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, for the most part, I would say 98%, and I used to build in my previous career some CBDCs with central banks. Most of them are using technology from crypto. Most of them are using DeFi mechanisms from crypto. If you look at the project mBridge between Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Thailand, and China, they are using swaps. They are using all kind of new technology and new innovation, which was brought to the world by DeFi. So the use of the crypto technology for CBDCs is essentially a testament and some kind of blessing by government that this technology is legit. It brings value. It does not mean that everything will be becoming suddenly like a rainbow and everyone will be happy. But we are definitely moving in the right direction. And as I said earlier, I invite everyone to stay engaged and demonstrate that what we are building is eventually really aligned with what the regulators wants to achieve in most parts of the world.
Yes, agree. So why we dedicated a lot of questions to regulator is because it's the part of adoption. if you are on the same page with the regulator and they understand the future of this technology, then more people can understand and it's develop the adoption of the industry. 2025 approach. So can you split the tea and tell us more about your maybe business goals or plan? Your
Absolutely.
dYdX, or maybe your personal. It's also great to know.
Absolutely. dYdX is super busy. So dYdX, as I said, launched the dYdX chain about a year ago. All the metrics are really in the green. The growth is there. And more or less every quarter or every month and a half, there are upgrades and updates for the protocol. So this is just beautiful to see the pace of development, the user adoptions curves, as well as the overall activity of the protocol. So this is very exciting. dYdX Unlimited, we touched on this very briefly before. Instant and permissionless listings of new markets, liquidity built in a systematic way on the protocol itself, as well as an affiliation system, which will be brought to the world to kind of build this kind of flywheel. So we are very excited about that. I'm excited about what the community is doing with the dYdX protocol. All of this is totally open source. I'm excited about the new markets. We started to see on dYdX people listing FX, so currencies, foreign currencies, trading. There is a lot of conversations within the dYdX community about listing some indexes. The size of the index business globally, think of all these ETFs, the S&P 500 and others, is just massive. So there are more and more indexes kind of coming to existence in crypto, and many of them are soon coming on dYdX. So it's going to bring also some new waves and new ways of growth and new type of assets to be traded on dYdX. So excited about FX, excited about the indexes, real world assets such as gold and maybe some others will probably find their way. dYdX is an open platform. So what the technologies behind dYdX are doing is essentially bringing tools for builders, building tools for users to craft dYdX as they wish. That's why we've seen 150 different governance proposals over the past 12 months. That's 100 plus different proposals made by the users and the community of dYdX to grow and develop this. So I'm excited about that. Yes, the general growth. I guess the last point, which I think we will see a lot of progress next year around dYdX and in the market, is really a very clear and opinionated acceleration into the distribution of dYdX. dYdX, as I mentioned, is an OG project. We exist as a protocol for many years, and the distribution of dYdX is evolving with the industry of crypto overall. So I'm fairly convinced and very optimistic that many different integrations of dYdX will happen with various very large players in our space, essentially growing the mind share around dYdX and growing the different access points and gateway to dYdX. So I foresee dYdX being a global kind of DeFi layer for the market of derivatives, and many different ways to consume dYdX. Should it be via mobile apps, web apps, but also some other ways such as non-custodial wallets of all sorts, and some of them from large players.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the answer. So for many people, job opportunities like Web3 job market is kind of indicator of the market. So how you see the job opportunities market in the future? It's evolving, or we see many opportunities in the next year, or how it would be?
I think the industry is growing very fast. You can probably feel on your LinkedIn mailbox that there is many appetite for people with experience in crypto. Headhunters are at work, hiring teams and HR teams are at work to keep growing many of the successful projects in our space. The reality is we will need to keep onboarding new colleagues and and new colleagues in the crypto industry overall. So I invite everyone to consider a switch to crypto. I think it's an opportunity for anyone to build specific knowledge, to build a new chapter in your career. If you have already an exposure and some experience in finance, you're probably only one individual into the very, very large finance industry. So your career progress might be challenged just by the size and the size of the competition and the size of people having a similar knowledge to you. So I think the opportunity for many is to essentially keep learning along their career and keep learning knowledge and skills which are kind of logical from your existing skills. And crypto is logical for many. Should you be a developer? Should you be someone as an executive with an exposure to finance? If you want to work in DeFi, but the reality is, if you show to potential employers that you have an appetite for crypto, and you spend time on your personal time on crypto in the crypto industry to try things and build stuff, this is going to pay off because there is a very large demand. I give you a tip when I do interviews for new colleagues within the dYdX Foundation. A question I ask all of them is, tell me more about your crypto toolbox. And behind this question, I want the candidate for a new position at the foundation to explain to me and give me examples of the crypto tools they are using in their crypto life. Mm-hmm. Are you using a MetaMask? Are you only on Binance? Are you using Moonshot as a wallet for meme coins? Are you using some specific software? So the same way, if you see a craftsman coming in your house to repair your house and you see his toolbox has many tools and is very orderly, you can have a feeling already like how this person will work. So I try to reproduce these questions to candidates and trying to have them to explain to me what do they do in crypto today and what kind of software do they use. And by showing me which software they use, I have a very quick understanding of where are they into the learning curve of crypto and how passionate they are.
This is really good piece of advice. And in my hand, there is one more question. How you came to the industry?
Oh, that's a very long story. That's a very long story. So when I was a student, I was doing. I had a very limited budget, and I was essentially downloading MP3s and movies for myself, but also for some friends because I was early on the internet and computing in general. So I was exposed to the early days of decentralized computing and essentially file sharing software. So I started on Napster, and then I used LimeWire and eDonkey 2000 and Nutella. These software are probably not known by many because that was 20 years ago or so. But eventually down the line, after spending so much time and looking at this kind of decentralized computing organism and digital organism evolving, I was very passionate about them. And one day someone shared with me a PDF file which was named peer-to-peer money, called Bitcoin. And peer-to-peer, I was extremely familiar with it. I understood the technology fairly well. And money, I thought I understood money. But reading at the white paper, I thought it was more interesting to try to reinvent money rather than sharing MP3s. Yes. And I very quickly realized that I did not understood money so much, actually. I had a lot of learnings to kind of do to understand what is exactly money, what is the central banks, how can this evolve, what is the history of money, why did people started to pay each others with salt and later with shells and later with gold and silver, and how what could be the next steps of money. And this is what brings me into the rabbit hole of Bitcoin, as I was back in 2011. And then I took a break with the industry and the topic. I was busy with some other things in my life, and came back in the industry in 2015-16 with the birth of smart contract and business logics on the top of blockchains. And I'm talking here about Ethereum, of course, and spent some time on Ethereum, and decided to make it my full-time job back in 2018, if I remember well, when I joined Consensus, the company behind MetaMask.
Yeah, I know.
And I was head of Asia and then global head of business development for Consensus, building a lot of the great initiatives around MetaMask, around Infura, around Ethereum itself, sometimes with enterprises, sometimes with central banks, sometimes with NFT or different projects. And yeah, that's something I really like to do. I feel it's holidays every day, not exactly holidays, but I don't feel I'm working. It's just a very, very deep passion. So I hope everyone get the same passion when they join the industry and keep building specific knowledge. As I mentioned, it's just give you a lot of satisfaction, freedom, and it's fun.
Yeah, you have a really massive experience in the industry. So, what would you advise to the voice of Web3 listeners in terms of growing in the industry? If rather they whether they looking for job opportunities or whether they want to grow as a like user, as a consumer.
You mean as a user or for your job?
It's like all options. Like if you want to grow in the industry, whether you're looking for job opportunities or whether you want to improve your knowledge about the market and also about the money in general, how they work.
If you want to grow your career, or if you want to start your career in crypto, I think it's important to spend some time to try to understand the crypto industry. And not everything is the same in crypto. Some people are doing DeFi, some people are doing infrastructure, some people are doing NFTs, and trying to pick and understand which vertical in DeFi you feel the more comfortable and where your past experience makes more sense. So first, try to be a little bit strategic and go work in crypto in projects which make sense to you and which make sense in terms of coherence with your existing career. That's number one. And number two, choose your boss. This is a very simple advice. It applies to everyone in every industry. Try to go in companies where people really want you to be successful, where people will give you the space to expand, and where people are smarter than you, so you can get to learn a lot. So you have to choose. Don't have to randomly go somewhere and hope for the best. You need to be a little bit picky and as much as you can choose the people you're going to work with. This way, so you're gonna just accelerate by an order of magnitude your personal growth and career in the space. Yes, that's really the two advice I can share. And probably there is probably many others, but that's the one coming to mind.
Yes, you are the leading voice of DeFi. Thank you so much for your answers. You are really open person, and I like that you join us today. So welcome. Wherever you want to say something new about dYdX, we are open to hear about you.
Thank you so much for your invitation. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.